Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Confident with me, your host, Cleopatra Williams. So, before you begin your confidence journey, you probably gave up on yourself a lot. And even now that you're on your confidence journey, you still feel like giving up on yourself a lot of times because giving up is oftentimes a lot easier than to keep going with dealing with the feelings and emotions and just life in general that comes along when you are on the road to becoming your best self, right? And what it really takes to have a full blown transformation. So, in this episode, I'm going to be going over how to stop giving up on yourself so that you can become one step closer to becoming your most confident self. So, first things first, I'm going to talk about why you should stop giving up on yourself. And the first reason why you should stop giving up on yourself is because when you give up on yourself, you are sabotaging the very thing that you want to achieve, whether it's with your confidence and your self esteem, or is with other things in life like your career or a relationship or, anything that you want to achieve. When you give up on yourself, you are sabotaging the very result that you want. And when you give up on yourself, you lose trust with yourself. The more you give up on yourself, you begin to not trust that you are capable of achieving something. And that is the very thing that's going to hurt your confidence because confidence stems from the word to trust, right? Being able to trust yourself. So if you constantly give up on yourself, you are going to keep distrusting yourself even more. And you will feel less assured with what you are capable of, right? And also your self esteem. When you give up on yourself, it does not make you feel good. Even though giving up is sometimes a lot easier than to keep going, you're going to lose some kind of respect for yourself. And when you lose self respect for yourself, that is hurting your self esteem. It may make you feel depressed. It may make you feel like you don't deserve anything good or better. Giving up makes you question, why did you even try anyways, right? Like it was too good to be true. So you're sabotaging, you're giving yourself these negative thoughts just because you gave up on yourself. Your self concept of yourself is affected. You create this identity of yourself of I'm a quitter, I'm a loser, I am no good. You're going to think of all of these negative things because you didn't keep going, because you kept giving up on yourself. It's actually going to make you have a worse off experience of yourself versus if you just kept going. The second reason why you should stop giving up on yourself is because you do not know how much time you have left. I'm 32 years old and I like to think that I'm going to live to like 100, right? Maybe I'm delusional, but that's what I like to think. And so that's like 68 more years left to go. However, I cannot imagine 68 more years of being in bondage, of not liking myself because I gave up on myself. 68 more years? Not, no, thank you. So I don't want to give up on myself. I can't even imagine. And you do not know how much time you have left. Maybe you only have 2 years left, but maybe you have 60 years left. And oftentimes, like even just saying that, right? We always think short term. We're not thinking long term. We're not thinking a big picture. Like we always hear like, oh, tomorrow's not promised and next week isn't promised. And, all of these things that kind of instill a little bit of fear in us. Yeah, is to keep us constantly practice living in the present. But it also instills a type of fear in us that we may not live that long. And so it creates this like, okay, well, I only have like a few years left. So why even try anyways? But when you think about it long term, instead of thinking like, oh, I only probably have like 5 years left, like you probably have like 50, 60 years left. So this is a huge reason why you should stop giving up on yourself because you're only thinking short term. right? You're going to get better. The things that's happening is temporary. If you do not quit, it's very temporary. Keep going. Stop giving up on yourself. And so this is what helps me when I have moments of like, out of frustration and just wanting to give up because, life be lifing, right? Life be lifing and things get hard and things don't go your way. And, sometimes things from the past and your thoughts and things try to creep in, right? Because you're still changing, you're still growing. But these things happen and it's normal to want to feel like giving up. However, when you start putting to perspective, like, damn, if I gave up, like, I'm gonna spend another 50 years like this. No, thank you. It makes you see things just a little bit more differently and kind of forces you to not give up on yourself because it's like, ugh, the what ifs, right? And so, just an example from me. Before I started this journey, I was in a really negative place. I was unhappy. I didn't have like no hope for my future. Like, I have a little minimum hope, but I just didn't feel like anything good was going to happen for me or to me. And even though I have done great things in my life and achieved great things, my self esteem was still crap. My confidence was still crap. So a lot of those things constantly got in the way. So I was very unhappy. And even though I saw a whole bunch of darkness, I had to ask myself, what if I don't give up now? I was 30 at the time and I was like, what if I don't give up? Like, what would life be like if I truly loved myself? What would life be like if I went after everything I wanted to go after without fear? What is the possibility of me creating a beautiful life, a life that I only envision of, and not just about money and everything, but a beautiful life of just straight happiness internally and externally, and yes, with some money, honey, because I want to do nice things. And so that's what leads me to my very first point and how to stop giving up on yourself. You have to trick your mind with your imagination. And the moments where you feel like, "Ugh, this is too hard, what was I thinking trying to do all this inner work? What was I thinking trying to stand up for myself? What was I thinking setting boundaries? What was I thinking taking more risk? What was I thinking starting a new business? What was I thinking, being vulnerable with my new boo?" And those moments where you feel like you can't keep going and you want to give up on yourself, trick your mind to not think so short term and think long term. Use your imagination to just imagine years from now, years and years and years from now, the possibility of you living a very long time. And just imagine yourself, close your eyes and write in your journal how amazing it's going to be when I love myself. How beautiful it's going to be when I'm in a healthy relationship. How amazing it is going to be when I build the biggest business ever. How amazing it's going to be when I get this body that I'm working so hard for. There's so much power in your imagination. Like, use your imagination to give you the energy to keep going when all of the things that's happening in your physical reality, your circumstances that you can see, right, that's happening. Use your imagination to trick you. Use your imagination to give you the energy to keep going. Because if you just focus on everything that you see, that is going to cause you to want to give up. Because when you don't see things going the way that you want it to go, it's going to cause you to want to sabotage yourself. It's going to cause you to start losing a little bit of hope. Maybe you were feeling good about yourself and then the next day you didn't. Maybe you ate something that made you bloated, right? Maybe you lost your cool and you started acting out, not actually acting as the person that you want to become. So you started to feel guilty and felt shame time, and then you start to lose more hope in yourself that it's possible for you to become this amazing person. It's possible for you to become your best self. But just use your imagination. Like those things that happen in our present and our circumstances that we see, those are the very things that's going to cause us to stop. But you have to trick your mind. That is going to help you. Number one, stop giving up on yourself. Number two, in the moments you feel like giving up on yourself, ask yourself, who is going to benefit from me not giving up on myself? What will not giving up do for the people in my life? I like to think of my daughter because I know that she is going to benefit from me not giving up on becoming the best version of myself, not giving up on me loving myself even more every single day, affirming myself, making myself into the best person. She is going to benefit from me not giving up on my dreams. She's going to benefit from all of this, whether it's going to be internally and externally. So ask yourself, who is going to benefit from me not giving up on myself? Maybe it doesn't have to do with anything with your family. Maybe you want to change the world in some better way. But how can you do that if you give up on yourself, right? And I like to think with me again, for another example, with the podcast, if I gave up, then I won't be able to serve people. Then I won't be able to help people with their self-esteem and help people with their confidence. So you guys are going to benefit from me not giving up on myself, right? And it starts to lead you from more about you to more about other people. That's going to help you not give up on yourself, because sometimes when you give up on yourself, it's because you're just in the process of thinking about you and all the things that's happening to you and everything that's going bad with you. But when you start to put other people in the picture, like who's going to benefit from me not giving up on myself, that's going to help you from giving up on yourself so quickly. So number three, another way to learn how to stop giving up on yourself is to connect with yourself and understand why you are worth it. When you understand why you are worth it, you will begin to move with the feeling of, I am worth it. I deserve not to give up on myself. I've been through so much for me to just give up on the opportunity to just give myself a better life, the opportunity that I know I deserve within me. I deserve to love myself. I deserve to trust myself. If they can do it, why not me? I deserve great health. I deserve the body of my dream. I deserve a healthy relationship. I deserve a peaceful household. I deserve to be doing fulfilling work. And so this is why you need to figure out why you're worth it. And this is going to require you to start doing some inner work. For me, like I realized that I was deserving to be on this journey of becoming my best self because I am living and breathing. I was given this gift of breath. So I deserve to live the very life that I want to live. I had to realize that I am a child of God. Like I have the innate worth that was given to me already. So why did I not see that? I'm worthy because of who I am and who I came from, not because of what I've done, what I did or didn't do, but simply by the fact that I am breathing. I deserve to keep going because I'm worth it. So I encourage you to sit with yourself and go through reasons of why you're worth it. I already gave you one reason why you're worth it is because you were made by God in his image and you have the innate worth that's already within you. But it's up to you to figure out why you are worth it. And that is going to help you stop giving up on yourself, because you're going to realize that I deserve to keep going. I deserve the very life that I desire. I deserve to become the very person that I know that I can become because I'm worth it. And so that leads me into number four. So number four, in the moments that you feel like giving up on yourself, ask yourself, what is it that you can learn from this? Because there is a lesson to be learned in every single thing. When you do this actually takes you from feeling and being so helpless, and it actually helps you step into your power. And it takes you from a victim mindset to a more victor mindset. When you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That's growth, right? That's empowering you because you just know that there's something that you can learn from this so that you can keep going, you can keep taking steps, and you can keep moving to becoming the person you want to be and doing the very things that you want to do. Is going to help you stop giving up on yourself. Maybe you need to learn how to have real open conversations with yourself. Being able to just accept what is, it is what it is, and being able to have more compassion with yourself and have more forgiveness for yourself so that you can keep going. And when you do this, trust me, you're going to be like, what should I do next? What can I do next? Because you're not trying to just wallow in self pity. That when you're in self pity, that's going to make you give up on yourself more quickly. So ask yourself, what can you learn from this? And that's going to help you just not give up on yourself. So, number 5, the fifth way for you to learn how to stop giving up on yourself. And I'm speaking to myself too. Stop overwhelming yourself. Listen, guys, like I am the queen of overwhelming myself with things I don't need to be overwhelming myself with. And for me, like I get overwhelmed so easily because I want things now. I want things to happen when I want it to happen. I know a lot of us are like that, but listen, Linda, like I want things now. So I easily like can overwhelm myself if I'm not careful. But you know what helps me is constantly telling myself to enjoy the journey because the journey is really meant to be enjoyed, guys. Like there's so much power in the journey that a lot of us just miss. Like many of us want to reach that destination like yesterday. We want to be the most confident version of ourselves yesterday. We want the dream house, dream car, dream man yesterday. And so what everything's not happening the way we want to, and we're doing all these things to try to get it, and it's not happening, and we're just not enjoying the journey, it causes us to want to give up. And so, what we do is we potentially miss out on what could have been if we just enjoyed the journey. Now, listen, for me, and I know for you, it is easier said than done, right? Because again, we want things now. Things feel so limited, time feels so limited sometimes. And we just know that, our whole life is going to be better like when we get exactly what we want. We just know it. And so we just make ourselves miserable and overwhelmed because we're just not being at ease with just enjoying the journey. And we quit. We give up before we even reach the destination that we're trying to get to. So let's just take a deep breath and enjoy the journey. Guys, seriously, stop overwhelming yourself about the journey. For real, for real. And so, of course, I want to give an example from me. So you guys can even understand it even more. You already know the kind of the story of me always wanting to be a dancer, but I didn't really start dancing until I was like 30 years old because I was scary and super shy that I wanted to tell my mom that I wanted to be a dancer when I was young. So guess what? That kind of caused me to not be flexible, to not have great technique. So when I showed up in these dance classes as an adult, I was very insecure and I was very just not as good as I thought I would be. And so that caused me to put a lot of pressure on myself. And what I did when I started taking these dance classes, because I just in my mind, all my life, I just knew I was going to be good. I just knew it, right? And so I was putting myself in like these more advanced classes. And in these classes, like I would see all these girls who's been dancing for years, been dancing majority of their life, and they have a skill set that I wish I had. And so it got to a point where when I first started taking dance classes, I was super excited. But then I started comparing myself and getting jealous. And that caused me to start crying almost every single class, like afterwards, of course. There was even classes where I was crying dancing because I made a mistake or I messed up and I felt like I was the only one who wasn't really doing a great job. And so I just felt so disappointed in myself. And then I remember like someone was telling me, why don't you take beginning classes? And I was like, no. I didn't say that. I just told her I'll think about it. But in my mind, I was just like, no, like me take beginning classes. Like I've really felt like that was kind of beneath me in some way. Like, why would I take beginning classes? Like, I can dance, I just don't have technique, but I can dance. But the thing is, like, I was starting not to enjoy dance. I was actually starting to just be miserable that I almost didn't want to dance anymore. I wanted to give up so badly. In the moments I gave up. But then at the beginning of last year, I just made a decision that I'm just going to enjoy the journey, right? It is what it is. I can't change the fact that I didn't grow up dancing. I can't change the fact that I kept my mouth shut. And so in the beginning, it's just like, you know what? Take a beginner's class. Just take beginner classes and just call it a day. Don't stress it. Don't try to be so professional and advanced because it is what it is. You're not at that skill set. If you want to dance, you might as well dance at a level that you can dance. So I started taking beginner classes. And what that did for me is actually, yes, I felt more insecure with the fact that I was taking beginner classes, but I also felt like it's not as bad as I thought it was. And I started to enjoy it a lot more because now I can learn. Everybody had to start at the beginning. Now I can learn how to do certain moves and all of these things. And even I can still test out more advanced classes and see, am I learning something? But that just allowed me to enjoy more of the journey instead of giving up on dance because, yeah, like I wanted to give up. I did not want to dance anymore, period. So that leads me to number 6 on how to stop giving up on yourself. Journal your life away. Like journaling will save you from so much anxiousness. I'm not saying that it's going to hold all together. Just journaling alone is going to stop you from giving up on yourself, but journaling going to help you get your thoughts out, right? When you're all over the place in your head and you're talking down to yourself and you're feeling like giving up, write it down. Write it down. Say, I feel like giving up because, like, write these things down because when you get them out of your head, you start to release some of that within you and then it helps you think more clearly. I do that often. I journal my feelings. I don't care if it's bad or good. Like, I journal it down. Take a nap. Take a nap after journaling. And I promise you, you're going to feel better after getting it out and then taking a nice nap. It works wonders. Okay. Number 7 on how to stop giving up on yourself. And this kind of goes into connection with journaling is affirm yourself. Give yourself affirmations daily, almost all day, every day. The minute you wake up in the morning, while you're getting dressed, in the daytime, play some affirmations in the background, like affirm yourself. Do whatever you need to do because affirmations is what's going to help give you more power back. I do this anytime where I'm feeling down or I feel like I want to give up or something. I use these affirmations and I want you to use these affirmations for yourself if it helps you. First affirmation is I have everything within me to be better, to do better, and have better. There's nothing that I can't come back from unless I can't come back, right? So when I say that, there's nothing I can't come back from unless I can't come back. Meaning that if I can't come back, meaning that I'm dead, right? That I can't come back. But there's nothing when you think about the past and you've overcame so much, there's nothing I can't come back from. So why give up? This setback is just made for a comeback, right? There's nothing that you cannot come back from. And I affirm that to myself when I feel like giving up. There's nothing I can't come back from. I have everything within me that was given to me by who I was created. I have the ability, I have hands that can write, I got a mind that can think, I have a mind that can be creative, I got legs that can move. You have so many things within you that was given to you to become better, to do better, and to have better. So that stops me from even giving up on myself because no, like, listen, there's nothing I can't come back from. I have everything within me to da da da. And so those are affirmations that I use. They're very simple. They're only two. I have a whole lot of affirmations for different things, but when I feel like in the moments I can give up on myself, those are the affirmations that I use so much because it works. Like it's just so much power in those two affirmations alone. And lastly, we are here to our very last step on how to stop giving up on yourself is to make a decision. I know you're probably listening like, what? Make a decision. But yes, make a decision that you will not give up on yourself. When you make a decision, the word decide means to cut off. You cut off any opportunity, any other possibilities of you giving up on yourself. Giving up on yourself is not even an option because you already decided that is not an option, right? You already decided that you are going to keep going. You already decided that you are committed to whatever you're committed to, becoming your most confident self. You're committed to building your self-esteem. You're committed to going after the goals that you want to go after because you realize that you are worth it, right? So that goes back to figuring out reasons why you are worth it and believe it wholeheartedly. And you decide, you cut off any other option or possibility than to not keep going. Giving up on yourself is not even an option. And with that being said, that is all the ways to help you stop giving up on yourself. I want you to remember that it won't always be easy, but it is so worth it. I hope these tips help you become one step closer to becoming more of your confident self, the confident self that does not give up on herself and building that self-esteem up. Do not give up on yourself. Use these tips. I hope it helps you. And until next time, guys, bye. Thank you so much for listening to Becoming Confident, Journey to Building Healthy Self-Esteem podcast with me, your host, Cleopatra Williams. If you want to be the first to know of new episode releases, of new resources, and get some weekly dose of inspiration, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, both at Cleopatra the Confidence Coach, and shoot me a DM. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. And lastly, tell a friend, sister, cousin, mother, someone who you think can relate to the show. I'm leaving all information in the show notes. Kindly support the show by subscribing on any platform you listen to and also rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And that is all for this episode. Until next time, okay? Bye.